My friends, welcome. Uh, Maybe this is the first time you've been here, so I'm glad you're here. Just wanted to say that for all the people who've been here for a while, enjoy the themed throwback 80s music that may or may not be in the background, but I have a pretty deep voice, so it should be all good. And I felt as though, in order to be authentic, I should shoot this video right now while it was on the top of mind and on my heart what I want to talk to you guys about. So maybe you realize the title of this video, but a little context before you decide not to listen to me. Collectively, across all my different clients inside our program, we have been able to generate over $1.3 million in added monthly recurring revenue per year. So it's pretty insane to see all of the clients winning inside the channel and to realize today the most important thing I could be doing for my business is making this video at a winery here where my wife works here. She enjoys the wine. We get a little discount, and it's up here in Michigan. It's a beautiful day, and I wanted to talk about a couple things, primarily a little bit my story, and also some of my client stories, and more importantly than all of that is how you can dramatically change your life and business a lot quicker than you realize. I know I might have lost a couple people with the title, and maybe you clicked off already, but this isn't a woo-woo thing, okay? There's a lot of people who own businesses who are super smart, okay? And I'm not trying to take that away from you. There's a lot of people who make a lot of money, 250K, 500K a year, and you're even more smart, okay? At least the perceived perception of yourself is. And sometimes that intelligence causes people to either overlook things or not understand things or misinterpret what's going on and then make uneducated decisions about how to move forward. And what I mean is, for the longest time, just 6 years ago, I was starting out in a multi-level marketing company and I worked my ass off, right? I got to the top 10% of the company and I helped a bunch of people as a weight loss company. And I helped so many people and I pretty much changed my life, and I understood this concept then. But I think back then I used too much of my intelligence, and maybe this is where you're at watching this video. You see, for the longest time, I've always understood like law of attraction, manifestation, stuff like that. But also like you, I'm pretty real about things. I understand you have to work to bring in new business. And I was also like in between the let me attract everything and super hustle culture at that time, especially. I got to get up at 5 a.m. I got to hit the list. I'm listening to Grant Cardone every day. I went to 10X Con. Like the main source of my perceived results at the time, at least to me, was the amount of effort and willpower I was willing to use in order to get my goals and to grow my business. And it's funny because the majority of the time that I was in that company, that was the frame I carried. However, after looking back, the times where I grew the fastest and the times where I had the most significant growth in my business were all times where I had almost no expectations and no perceived need to work hard, hustle hard, or to do any of that stuff. It was almost every single time that I made an extraordinary large amount of money, something happened that almost was not in my control, okay? It was almost like they were like effortless changes. An idea comes or something forces me to do something this way, and it wasn't like something I came up with on my own. But on the flip side of that coin, every single plan that I made, every single thing that I said, this is for sure going to be the thing that gets me to the next level, like none of those things worked. And when they don't work, I would feel worse about myself. And the true biggest and most deadly part about this is every time that happened, I would trust my own intuition and own self less and less. But on the flip side of that coin, during those times of low trust for myself, there would also become a surrender part. There'd be a detachment to this. because frankly, I would just want to give the fuck up at that point, right? Like I didn't want to do it anymore. And maybe you've been in that situation. It wasn't like I wasn't making any money. At the time, I was making 7 figures. I was in the top 10%. I had a huge team. We had one of the biggest brick and mortar locations that you could open in one of these companies. One of the busiest for years and years and years in our downline. But there was a point where my personal willpower and my personal effort into my business was not actually yielding results. Instead, the things I was deeming important to do and the frame and the identity that I had while I was doing it was making things a lot worse. And so fast forward to now. Last month, we did a little over $10,150 in revenue between contracts and cash collected. And we ran no ads for that. No setters, no sales calls. There was one sales call. Sorry, let me be honest. There's one sales call. And been able to completely change the program. Clients are up an extraordinary amount. Brand new low ticket community and tracker, which if you guys want that, it'll be in the link in the description. I created a custom AI coach that can help people so they don't have to pay for coaching, and a tracker to make it all simple. On my own terms, and today I'm drinking wine at a winery while making this video. And just a couple years ago, this is literally the dream I wanted. This is it. This is all I ever wanted. And so how did I get here in a short amount of time without necessarily putting in the extraordinary amount of work? Well, here's the thing. I did, probably like you. I'm not here to tell you that you can materialize absolutely anything out of nothing. Okay, you can, but the truth is I put in a lot of work, way too much work. And there was times where I was putting in work and all of these things were like planting seeds and they were building up the person who I am. They were building up the skills. I was learning something from this opportunity. I learned something from that opportunity. I learned something from this time. I learned something from this rejection, right? That process has to take place. Why? Because when I get to the goal though, when you get to the point where you actually materialize what you want, it's effortless. It is literally effortless. The clients who come to me now, and maybe you watching this video, are dream clients who require no forcing on my end to understand the value that I bring to their business. And I feel better about it. I don't have to chase them. They're not getting chased by me. I'm making videos. If the video is valuable enough, if you like it, you can reach out and ask for more. It's a completely different way of thinking. Completely different to how I ran my business all before. And here's the other thing. It's not just me. I've had several clients, one being, and I'm going to tell his story because I think it applies to this most, named Han. If you're watching this, bro, love. Now, Han was a barber, and he is a barber, okay? But when I met him, he was about almost 6 months out of barber school. And just like many new barbers, was pretty lost on what to do to have a sustainable business that felt good while working it. Now, Han, at the time, was doing what I guess most people do, or most barbers especially, and he was standing in the shop 6 days a week, close to 60 hours per week, 6 days of his week, primarily waiting for walk-ins, having long days where he would be in there for 8-9 hours only to do 5 haircuts that were spaced out throughout the day. And so when he came to me, he wanted to try to force his way and take more action into more revenue. One of the first things he said to me was, hey, let me say it like this. One of the first things after explaining his situation, explaining that he was doing this, I said to Han, 3 suggestions. Okay, I said, number 1, you should raise your price. Okay, at the time he was charging a really cheap amount for haircuts, and just like everything else, things get more expensive. There's no reason for Han to be the only person not following this, new or not new. Okay, he's already posting on social media. He's already putting in the work. At the time that I met him, he was doing a 30-day social media challenge, posting every single day, all these creative reels, trying to do all this. So he's putting in the effort. That's the point I'm trying to make. Okay, but I said, you need to raise your price because this is too cheap for how good you are and the service that you provide and the things people are saying about you. Okay, I said, number 2, You need to create the schedule that you as a business owner would actually like to work and be okay with working. You don't need to be available 24/7. The reason people aren't booking you out is because you're available all the time. Okay, so just like us, we only take in 5 people a month now. 5, that's it. It's the beginning of the month. Applications are open. You can apply downline, but we only take 5. So this video goes viral. You're probably cooked already. Who knows? But I told Han, you need to do this, okay? You need to apply the same technique. So we got rid of one of the days that he didn't like going right away, and now he was only cutting 5 days a week instead of 6. And right away, then the third step was on the days that you have availability early in the week, just post on your story. These are the haircuts I got, dates, things I have open still. Simple as that. Every single day that you need to fill a spot, just post that on the story. Okay? Now, here's the fun part. Han's immediate response, and maybe this is you after hearing this type of advice. I might have lost you though. But his response was, well, we have a common expression in our industry where you have no business raising your price unless your chair is booked out a week or so. And I looked at Han for a little bit and I said, that sounds like something broke people made up, right? Like, just being honest. It's your business. You can absolutely raise the price at any given point. Just like if you're watching this video, if you want to raise your price, change your availability, flip your offer, switch how you talk on social media, hire a bunch of people, fire a bunch of people, it literally doesn't matter. This is your life. The truth is I told you, this is how to change your life. It's so fast it feels illegal because it's instant. The hardest part is having enough faith and identifying with the version of yourself who already believes that that's reality. That is the single hardest part. Han did not listen to my advice, right? But he did understand. He listened to one thing, setting a schedule and doing the story thing. So what happened? Right away, within weeks, literally the next 2 weeks after our call, he did more haircuts than he had done in the last month. 77 cuts, completely booked out, to the point where his third call with me, he legitimately said, bro, I think I'm too busy. Like, I don't even want more haircuts than that. My hands are tired. Okay, but then it took him longer to make the limiting, but like the belief he held on to was that he had to keep the price. Had to keep the price because he wanted to make sure now I got this awesome booked out calendar. If I raise my price, what happens if I start to lose all that, right? So he proceeded to go the next 6 months at an 80% booked out rate. Okay, just absolutely autopilot, stopped worrying about clients all the time. Just ridiculous. And so finally he's like, okay, bro, I think I'm ready to raise my price. And I should to get a recording, you guys will see on his interview coming out soon, but he finally raises his price, and what happens? Record month. First month, same amount of money, way less time working. Second month, he did $7,000 as a barber while taking 1 week off in May. Unfucking real. Now, here's what happened between Han in September last year and May this year. Not a whole lot. A belief change. Yes, there was 3 independent actions I already told you. It took him a year and a half to finish those actions out. Why was he able to be suddenly booked out instantly after truly believing that that's what he was able to do? Because his identity changed. And when your identity, your emotions, and your actions are all in line, that's called equilibrium. And we're all in a state of equilibrium. It just depends on which one you are in right now. And your state of equilibrium needs to match the desired reality you want. No amount of action will ever fix your equilibrium. Alone, anyway. But if you mix it with the proper identity, then your emotions will be aligned and the action will seem effortless. You won't have to work harder to do it. You can have the same offer, the same business, the same everything, and make 6, 7, 8 times the amount of money. How your competitors do. Jim Rohn says, is it possible a man can work at the same company doing the same job for the same people and make twice the money? Yes. What's the difference? Value. How do you increase value? By working on yourself harder than you work on your job. He literally tried to tell us back in the day. If you don't know who Jim Rohn is, that's Tony Robbins, the #1 life and sales coach in the world. The #1. It was his mentor. He said, if you want to make more money, you have to increase your value. And the only way to increase your value is to work on yourself harder than you work on your job. Now, I know it sounds ridiculous, and maybe you're thinking, oh, this guy was starting out, but let me give you another story. I have another client named Phil. You guys have heard me talk about him with the last couple of videos because it's unreal. His new win posted in the thing is even more unreal. Okay, Phil, when he came to me, was doing about 10 to 12K per month with his coaching Amazon business. Okay, he had an unbelievable fucking offer. Unbelievable. If you guys could see the amount of wins that Phil posts on his IG. So if you guys are looking for Amazon FBA mentorship, definitely check my boy out. I'll link it right here. But if you guys could see the amount of messages he gets of people saying, hey, I've paid people thousands and thousands of dollars more for way less than you provide. He was getting messages like this for months and was still holding the internal charge that he wasn't enough and that he couldn't be proud and that he had to grind and that he always had to try something else. So he's wasting hundreds and thousands, a ridiculous amount of money on ads that weren't even really working. But he had to select ones that were ripping. So after doing some investing and after doing some personal work with him, we did the XORX assessment where we pulled out what are the biggest limiting beliefs, right? He had wrote there was that he wasn't deserving of making this amount of money. He wasn't deserving of 100K a month, right? He had done a 50K a month before, but it wasn't sustainable and his identity crashed and he went down back to zero. He had thrown away all the gratitude practices, all the manifestation practices. And this is the thing, most techniques are kind of bullshit. Like you don't need them. Again, this isn't a woo-woo. It's called creative imagination though. It's like a technical term for it. The more time you spend visualizing, thinking, feeling with your five senses of your desired reality versus the shit that's going wrong, the more likelihood that you are will happen and the faster it will happen. Okay, it's never not worked. Phil decided to start giving this practice daily. He decided to start plunging into changing his shifting belief. Yes, there were some actions he took as well within his funnel, changing to what his main offer was, getting more locked in, delegating things. But on the inside, right away, literally 2 months later, he was starting to crush 30K months. Now, fast forward, I think Phil has been working with me now for 8 months, and he just posted this win in the wins channel of our community. Clear roadmap to 100K months, has booked 3 vacations in the last couple of months, and it's just time freedom out the world, attracted his dream partner, it has just absolutely become a new person in a short amount of time. Okay, so whether you are making $250,000 a year, if you hate your life, Jim Rohn says you can change it. You're not a tree. You can have anything you want. You can do anything you want. The action steps won't matter as much as who you really believe that you are. The identity that you carry, the emotions that you keep about yourself, the way that you speak to yourself, the way that you show up and do things. Stop living small. If you want to change your life rapidly, decide today to be the person who already has done it. Identify with them, feel like them, act like them, smile like them, enjoy some damn wine like them, and make a video that is super lax with 80s music playing in the background. Who cares? It's your life, and you have a lot more power than you realize. So again, we have 2 new things for you guys. If you love this and you want to work with me, if you're a beginner, 100% check out the brand new GU tracker. It's unreal. You can start by just joining the newsletter and or send me the word tracker on DM. I'll send you on Instagram. I will send you that information. And likely also, if you want to work with me inside the program and you're already making 6 figures, but you know that internally you should be making a lot fucking more, and you should, then you can DM me the word clarity and we can work together one-on-one. We only have 5 spots. They are open. I hope it's you if you made it this far. All right. Peace, love, prosperity.